Welcome, everyone, to the Existential podcast. I'm your host, Jonas. I'm joined by my two co hosts, Hunter and Jeremiah. Today, we're going to talk about the Lucifer effect. How are you guys doing today?
Doing ecstatic today.
It's good. I am doing very interesting. My brain's got some weird shit going on, uh, and we're not sure what it is, so let's hope my speech doesn't get all fucked up while I start talking. So, the Lucifer effect, like a TLDR of it, is basically like Batman, the whole Batman thing and Joker, where you're like you either die a hero or you live long enough to watch yourself become the villain. So essentially, you do a lot of good for a really long time, and then after a while, people start to use you as a tool instead of treat you as a person, and then you start to become bad because of that. That makes any sense? The let's see here. Let's say you always do good for people, treat them well, and will do anything for anyone that asks. At some point, you notice that no one ever does anything for you or appreciates you. They basically see you as a tool, not as a person. Then one day you snap, you're no longer nice to everyone, you don't help anyone, and you're looked at as a monster. What causes someone to drastically change their personality like this?
Uh, Fatigue, stress, that I think could really make someone find a way to snap like that. I mean, if you're helping somebody, like if you enjoy helping people, but you find yourself not getting things, but you can't say no, or you feel like you can't, then it really does put pressure on you.
Or feeling used. I think that's another thing. Like if you work at a job for a long time doing the right thing, or like always taking that extra mile to finish your job or to make your job be that much like more quality or efficient or whatever. You don't get it raised. You see someone else next to you get the promotion when you feel like you should have got the promotion. You just feel like everything, all your actions didn't matter. And I think a lot of people uh will see that and be like, well, fuck, why did I even try? Why did I try so hard when this person who I know half-assed something got the position over me? Um, and then you start to think, people start thinking different things like, oh, this shit is just not fair. Life isn't fair. If life isn't fair, then how about I just do the bare minimum and just say the right
Yeah,
things to get to who I need to get, or make the right relationships with the management or higher ups to get further in life or to get into the business I want. So they like will stoop low to that level, or you
They'll go
know,
below their moral.
yeah, they'll go below the morals or below their character.
yeah. Their situation can really affect like how they respond to shit.
Mhm.
Shit like that. Is there any way that this can be prevented? Is there a way
Um,
to prevent?
Learn how to say no.
Yeah, setting boundaries.
No. Very
That's
yeah,
that's
important.
hard for a lot of people.
Very
Setting
important.
boundaries.
yeah, setting boundaries, having a good moral compass, or like a good code to like go by, whether that's like the Bible, Hinduism, or whatever code you want to live by. Doesn't necessarily have to be religious, but like to point you in the right direction of like, okay, working hard, treating people with respect, all the good traits and values could help you prevent that. Especially if you really stick to it and really believe it. Like uh all hard work eventually pays off. I think that is a good value to have. Um, but also like learning that life isn't fair. Sometimes may fall short, even though you work so hard. Look at the people who go to the Super Bowl and lose. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I see it as a almost like a pick your battles type of thing, but like pick who you're gonna help and how much you're gonna help them. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Because I think, yeah, if you don't ever set a boundary with somebody, they'll people are so selfish and they don't see that with themselves, so they'll just take advantage of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get used, and it's hard too because you're going to run into those types of people.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a society thing. I think that you either you either get used or you use people. There's like no in between for some reason. I don't know why society has gone that way. Yeah, sure. There's some like in betweens, but you rarely ever see it. It's either one way or the other.
I think that's also because we live in such a large community. I think in
Yeah,
smaller communities, that's much. It's probably not as amplified.
yeah. It's easier to see.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yes, fucking single that guy out because he's the abuser, the user.
Yeah.
Well, here's maybe a more nuanced take on that. Do you think that it's possible for an individual to be used by a group of people, but then go home to their family and they use their family?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
One
So
hundred
like it
percent.
kind of like depending on what I almost say community or like what group of people you're around will sometimes determine like the dynamic of that relationship, whether you are the user or the abuser. You know?
They're trying to like reciprocate what's happened to them, and the only way they can do it is to other people that they know are not going to respond. Because if they did it to the people that are using them, then there's going to be a backlash.
Mhm. Which kind of ties into that first like question with or when I was saying how someone would work hard and then not get the position, but see someone who half-assed it get the position and just kind of learn to see what they did and then kind of adapt that way. I think that kind of ties into that.
Yeah, yeah. So there's like different roles of like leadership, right? And those leaderships are like how you can either use somebody or get used. Do you think this changes based on like where you're at, like what role you have, like whether you're at work and you're a dad, or you're at work and you're a dad? No, you're at home and you're a dad, and at work you're just a regular like base level guy. If that makes any sense. Like,
Sure.
do you think your level of how much you're willing to help someone is based on where you're at?
Like in life, like outside of work.
Yeah, in a sense, like at home, right? Your kid always asks you like why, and you just tell him why or whatever. But if you go to work and someone does the same thing, you're like, no, go fuck yourself, type deal. Mm.
Uh, it, I mean, I don't. I think like a kid is a bad example because that's a child. I think nobody's gonna wanna. Well, not not nobody is just not gonna wanna use their child or tell their child to fuck off. Um, but I think like if I were to compare my patient with like if I'm just gonna use this as an example, like with our niece versus my patients
Grown
at work,
ass
a grown
man.
ass man patient at my work. My patience for my niece is much higher.
Mhm.
Uh, but that's just because that's one my niece and it's also a child. And then if you're a grown man, which 99% of my patients that are men are older than me and they're grown men, and I look at them and when they do something that I feel is incompetent or I'm just surprised at how incompetent they are. Wait, but
Yeah, yeah. So there's like an expectation for
yeah,
the older people.
I
Yeah,
probably set too high of standards for people because I look at them like you should be at least where I'm at
Yeah,
because
or
I'm
higher.
or higher, and it's most like it's like an age thing because I think about myself and then I think about
well, yeah,
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 because you always hear the thing of you can't tell me what to do because you're younger. I'm older. I have more life experience than
yeah,
you. Type
and
deal.
and you
yeah,
took
no,
that person.
I did. I 100% did because
Jonas
that's what
drives in an old profession ruled by the old generation.
how they are out here. And then I fucking tell them how to do something. They're like, no, you can't do it that way. And then they go and do it. And they're like, wow, it was way easier doing that way.
Do they have
No
that
shit.
accent too?
Yeah.
I don't like this. Talk like they're from fucking Arkansas. But yeah, I think the thing of is you set those expectations to your bare minimum, and if someone's not meeting the bare minimum, then you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. My thing is like, how does your situation impact like your behavior? Like whether you're nice to somebody or not nice.
I think your one influences and like who you grow up around, and then how you're raised.
No, for sure. Sure. Yeah. Imagine if you look at it from a book perspective, or I guess you could look at it from a different perspective, but like the tone of the situation, if that makes any sense. If you're looking at, I don't know, doing something with a young child, I don't know, trying to teach them to play a musical instrument or some shit, and they just aren't grasping the instrument, you'll have more patience because it's looked at as a happy thing.
Mhm. you don't want to create the negative experience.
Yeah, yeah. I think that can really impact how someone reacts to something or a situation. Does society have an impact on how people react to what's normal?
Just like
Yeah.
So
Like-
like the Joker, for instance, right? Is it the Dark Knight that I'm
Yeah.
thinking
with
of?
Heath, with
Yeah,
Heath,
yeah.
Heath
With Heath
Ledger.
Ledger,
Yeah,
Dark Knight.
yeah. Where he goes and he's a nurse, quote unquote, and he fucking blows it up and walks
Mhm.
away like totally normal, like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the way the other people around him reacted is because they see that as not normal, but he sees it as normal? Because
Like they react in one way because it's not normal,
yeah, because
but
that's how society
but he's
is.
indifferent because it's normal to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, right. Yeah. What I'm saying is, how does like in a situation like that, he is not affected by society.
And what they think.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Where other people are affected by society is that no, they're a part of society. Do you think that society can like impact how you are? So if you are not like him, where society doesn't impact him, he doesn't think about society. It can cause like negative things like behavior.
Yes. I think society very much can dictate what people do or feel or how they feel towards something. You could look at this towards, like, for instance, men and women when it comes to like sex. Society will tell you that when a girl has sex with multiple dudes, she's labeled like a hoe or whatever. Where if a dude does it multiple times,
Yeah, he's
he's
fucking
labeled
awesome.
he's labeled as like a player or
Fucking-
whatever. And it has a way more negative connotation for a woman than it is for a man. So in
Yeah.
that sense, yeah, culture or society kind of dictates how you feel about that. But there are people that are like, I don't give a fuck what society says. Like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do anyway. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I think for the majority of people, that probably is how we think about things.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like the main point of society is to create
A
normal.
normal.
Like standards
They
Yeah.
create
or a
the
norm.
standard because that's kind of how you learn. You do something that, we'll just say bad. You are usually told that it's bad,
Mhm.
or there's some sort of, you can feel like if you say something that's kind of like out of pocket, you'll see people kind of like they're like the energy in the room will shift. And if you can't, like if you're, I guess, like the Joker and you can't, like it doesn't, like those
Yeah, you can't
social
comprehend
cues
that.
don't
Yeah,
cue
that's
and
what
you
I
don't pick
I
up
have
on
that
them,
problem.
you're just like, yeah, nothing. Like
Yeah,
people that have autism or Asperger's, they don't kind of like,
they don't
it-
associate
they
with
don't-
that. Yeah,
yeah.
they can't.
It's
pick
just
up
like,
on
I'm
that.
gonna say what I'm gonna say, and it is what it is.
Yep, that's me right there.
Yeah.
That's kids too. Kids do that a lot. They'll just say
Yeah.
like they're like insanely honest.
Yeah, it's because they're not ingrained with society, where it's like you shouldn't always say what you think because you
Yeah.
could hurt.
Yeah,
Someone's
people
feelings.
see it as insensitive. Yeah, crazy.
I had one kid call me big one time. I was like, "You're right. You got me."
Look,
I was
I've
like,
been
"Oh,
caught.
we're so sorry." I'm like, I'm fucking
You're like,
ob-
I know.
I'm
Giant.
obese. I'm huge. What?
How can peer pressure cause someone to go outside of their comfort zone?
It can make you feel like what they're pressuring you to do is normal, or it's what you should
You
be doing.
should do. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's it? Yeah. What the situation calls for.
you're like, dude, we're at a party. Just drink, man. It's fine. We're only like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone else is here is doing a
Smoke
line.
this cigarette, bro.
Hit
Gonna go
this.
cowabunga on some pizza later, bro.
Rip this stick. Why is it the ninja?
I don't know. That's just
They're just
what, like,
down in the sewers fucking ripping
the fucking
sticks.
80s, 70s, like stoners was like. That's
No,
how I envision them.
Now today it's just Zen and fucking
Xanax, hard drugs, mollies.
Yeah, Xanax, Molly. Fucking
They don't want to just get high. They want to get fucked
fucked
up.
up.
Yeah, dude.
I want to forget about my mom.
I want to forget my problems of being rich. Ugh, going to public school and
The Jeep wasn't pink; it was black.
I'm like, fuck,
Oh,
dude, my life is
fuck.
so hard. Little XX Tentacion, he just speaks to me. Yeah. Do they flick their hair back? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, peer pressure is a fucking wild thing. And it's so weird because I've seen so many people get like pressured into doing stuff
Mhm.
But like growing up, right? Because I've had so many different fucking problems. People are like, "Oh, dude, you should come smoke weed with us." I'm like, "Nah, you guys are good." And then you get like outcasted in your group.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he's fucking ugly.
He's
And then you just,
lame. He's
I always
lame.
turn that shit down, but I never got outcast because of it. So. Most people were. I feel like I got most respect from most people for doing
For saying no.
for saying no
Yeah.
because I was just like, yeah, nah, dude, I'm good. You guys can do it, and I'm around, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm good. I didn't do it until I was like 18, but that's because I did it on my own volition. Nobody pressured me to do it.
Nah, me. I got medically told to do it, and then fucking found out I was allergic to it.
got him.
I munched on the brownies that they made for him, and then because obviously he wasn't gonna eat them. So
Yeah.
I
Ate the brownies.
ate them.
Like, fuck.
Sick as shit.
So
Playing Call of
Jeff-
Duty, fucking turn off a brownie, dude.
That's a big nigga too, so he has to eat a whole bunch.
bro,
He's like eat Joey Diaz amount,
Dude,
nigga, 1,000 milligrams.
the amount of alcohol and anything I have to induce to get something is terrible.
Yeah, we
But-
big niggas, man. That's why.
And
Big.
well, especially
after
back
this,
then.
I think I still have it. I have a list of from last year's beer Olympics with Fletcher. I'll show you what I had. I'll do it after this, obviously.
I can't believe you lost this.
You lost, bro. How do you
Oh.
lose?
Jagger was my teammate. Jagger didn't drink and
Jagger
do party
can't
games. And
Yeah.
the only thing he's good at is cornhole because his dad makes boards, so he just be yeeting them the whole time. So that's all he does. Every like the flip cup games, any other thing, that was my shit.
What's a flip cup? What's that?
You like, there's like a row and you're like racing. You have to like put the cup on the edge, flip it, and it has to land, and then you take the drink in front of you, drink it, do it again down the row, and you have to like beat the person you're racing. That's how
Yeah, I like beer pong.
beer pong.
That's fun. Just without
Yeah. Drinking's not for us kids and other people.
I'm the young.
Yeah, he's the biggest drinker there is.
I drink once, like every like maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
the
Holy shit. Have you ever seen someone take on a leadership role and do things they normally wouldn't just because they have the power to do so? And why do you think that is?
Do I think? Say that again.
So someone takes on a leadership role that normally wouldn't. That normally wouldn't take on a leadership role. Have you ever seen them do something that they normally wouldn't just because they have the power because they're in the leadership role?
Oh, for sure.
Why do you think that happens?
I don't. I personally don't think I've ever done it, so I don't. Like I've never. If I wasn't confident in being a leader in a situation, I'm not. Or if I'm forced to, I'm gonna say, hey, by the way, I'm not fully confident. So how about we just how about we just all put in some points and we'll kind of
That's the
take a
easiest way to
poll.
do it. Yeah, just
But-
put it together.
For me, it's hard to say because it's hard for me to really like think of someone who I've known personally in a leadership position and be like, you're not operating the way you're supposed to. But I've definitely like questioned like, yo,
Are you sure
not
that's the
like,
right decision? Yeah.
but like not even like, yo, this like you don't even have to do it this way. Like we could do it this way, and it'll be a lot more efficient or a lot more better.
Yeah.
But like whatever, like this is you're the fucking leader, so
Yeah, but it's like someone that's a leader, they make a decision, but in their own time when they're not a leader, they would not make that decision because they think it's wrong when they're by themselves.
yeah, I don't know many leadership people like that personally that I would say
They
like
they become immoral, I should say.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't really like encountered a lot of people
I
like
have.
managers or whatever outside.
Now
that's
that
like,
we put it in this situation, now that you've kind of like, yeah, I've met so many people,
Yeah.
people I work with,
okay,
like managers, all this, and I'm just looking at you. I'm like, you're a little fucking bitch. Like before, you would never have done this, and you're only saying this because this is what you're scripted to do, and this is you're going by the job, and you want to keep your job, and obviously you need to pay your bills. So I can understand it, but at least be a fucking human being. Because I know if we weren't in this situation where you're my boss or you're my supervisor,
Yeah,
you wouldn't
do
be
that.
doing this, right?
Yep.
yeah, you get a foot in that.
Like you wouldn't be trying to be like, oh, I understand, Hunter, and you know, I don't want this to be the case, but this is how it has to go. No, motherfucker, no, it doesn't. Like,
The one thing I don't like, this might be like a little rant, is when, because I know probably outside in the real world, like I had this with my last job where there was a particular supervisor who was just a fucking dick to people, like over the radio, but like you wouldn't dare be that dickish in front of people because they would knock you the fuck out for
Yeah.
talking that way to grown ass men.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's no fucking way you would say that.
Yeah.
So maybe if that maybe answers, like I know that for a fact you wouldn't do that, bro.
Yeah, it's like that.
Like you capping
Yeah.
my name.
I work in a mostly woman field, so they're not aggressive. They're passive aggressive. So
Yeah,
the way that they speak to you is either condescending or very passive aggressive, or they kind of speak in non-answers.
give me an
I'm not.
example of a non-answer. Like,
Let's just say in this situation, they were having a new provider, doctor, walk in, come to the building, and they get asked a question. Oh,
how
is
tall are you? Tall as I need to be.
no. We asked because we're maximum capacity on providers. Oh, are they going to work here? Oh, sometimes they just come in and we walk around just any side.
The fuck?
So are they working here or not?
Yeah, they don't actually answer.
Just say yes or no, or if you don't know, just say I don't know.
Mhm.
But they'll do that shit where they'll give you
hate
an
that shit.
answer that's not what you are looking for. It's
That
not a
doesn't
yes
help.
or it doesn't help. It's just
It answers a question that isn't there.
it answers a question that you didn't.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, it's a little weird because I take a leadership role in like a lot of things that I do. Natural thing. So when I see someone that's in a leadership role do something that I like see as immoral or whatever, I'm like, nah, they wouldn't do this in real life. Like in a situation where they're not here, or they wouldn't even do that to their own upper management, like their supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
They're just abusing their power, and I'm like, nah, this is not right, dude.
Mhm.
And depending, I've gotten better about it now. I usually like will say something about it. Like our mechanic, it's the first time he's ever been a foreman. It's and before that he was a lube tech, so he only knows some stuff. And when I first got there, I had like asked him stuff, thinking that I've worked with other mechanics that like really know their shit. So I was asking him some questions, and I was like, "There's something fucking off on this guy." And then after working there for however long now, I'm like, I don't ask him for shit anymore because he's so arrogant and he likes to lie a lot for no reason. It makes no fucking sense. So, like the the hiring manager, like the actual like high up manager, like will ask stuff, and he's like asked drivers on what they think of the foreman and stuff. And every time I'm like, no, we got to get rid of this. He's not fit to be a foreman. He could be a mechanic, sure, but he can't be a foreman. He can't he can't be a leader. Stuff like that.
Told them that?
Yeah.
Like you told the company or your job?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've told
that's
other
good.
drivers that they see that.
Yeah, I think it's bad when you have someone in a supervisor role who, I'm just gonna say defective for lack of a better term, but like
Yeah,
that
they're not fit to be a leader.
they're not fit for that. And I don't know who the fuck hired them or put them in that position, but it's like I mean, I had that with my or yeah with my job right now, where it's like some of the not someone it was really just one dude. I'm like, you're just fucking up everyone's day because like you not so that he's a dick or anything. It's just like he doesn't do the job good. You
Yeah.
know, like you are making constant mistakes that kind of affect like the flow of everything.
And then they get so defensive when you try to correct them. Like you don't even need to be doing it like in a disrespectful way. You could be doing it in a polite way, just trying to help them, and they'll see it as you trying to challenge them.
Yeah,
And then they try to use their power on you. It's fucking dumb.
that happened to you before they try to use the power.
Yeah, and then the guy realized that I'm a fucking driver
Why?
on my fucking shit.
What do you try to do? Like what? In what way did he try to use his power?
You should start in third, not second.
No,
just
like,
listen to me because I'm a
we'll
fucking
I'll just have you
foreman.
taken out of your truck, and you'll have to drive this truck. Okay, dude. First off, I can use the fucking autism card on you, so I get to keep my truck because it saves my schedule. And second off, I know this truck fucking better than you do. I know where it came from because I've asked. You have no idea where the fuck it came was. You didn't know because my truck is the only truck in the fleet that was a lemon law truck. The only truck that was a lemon, and I don't know why we fucking bought it.
You guys drive lemon?
Uh, not the fruit lemon, the law called lemon when a vehicle's a lemon basically means it's defective.
Okay.
They like are sour.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the like Kenworth.
Damn. It's all a Kenworth.
You're, but I don't even fucking remember what the hell I was saying now. Like where I was going with that. But yeah, okay, I think I remember now. Yeah, he tried to take me out of my truck because I tried to tell him like what was wrong, specifically what was wrong. And he's like, "Nah, that." I'm like, "Do you want to bet?" And then he took that as a defensive thing. I know I said that like
you want to bet, fucking idiot?
I know how Jonas said it. You
Yeah.
want to fucking bet,
You wanna
idiot. That's
fucking
how
bet?
Jonas said it. That's how Jonas says anything like that.
And then I'll go
Jeez.
and show him, walk over there and show him. And he's like, "No, I don't think it's that." So he'll fix everything else. It's still not fixed. And then he goes and fixes things that I told him was. And, well, would you look at that? It magically fixed itself. I
Incredible.
cannot stand that shit. It blows my mind.
At least you got everything else fixed that didn't need to be fixed.
But it didn't need to be
I
fixed.
know.
It's unnecessary money waste. Shit like that. Now, I'll answer this next question last because I want to see your guys' thoughts on it. As a leader, how do you make things fair for everyone in your group? Like if you're leading something,
And like what context?
in any situation where you would be a leader, like for you making a game.
Okay,
Right.
that's a little. The reason why I said what context is it's hard to kind of generalize that because um their leaders have different roles depending on what they're leading, if that makes sense, right? Like a football team is going to be led differently than a fucking at a kitchen, like a professional kitchen. You know, those are like kind of two different things.
Yeah, right. But the basics of it, like how do I word this to make sense? How you structure it, like how you.
Well, okay, that might have been a bad. About might have bad. No, it might have been a good example because a football team. Who's the most valuable player in a football team?
Quarterback.
Who's the most valuable player in a kitchen?
Well, yeah.
Like the head chef, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
lead
it's
chef.
the sous.
So like the leader, right?
Yeah.
You
The
could
sous
argue.
chef cooks. The chef makes. Like he will design it, and then the sous chef will run it.
Mm-hmm. So we would say the chef,
Yeah.
and the quarterback.
Yeah.
Who gets paid the most? Do they all get paid the same?
No. Yeah, QB and the chef, they get paid. I'm saying the how do I? Yeah, your structure is the same. Both of their structures are the same. It's not fair as in like, oh, everyone gets paid the same. It's fair based on like what you do. How do you structure that?
The
And some
value
visibility.
and what you're providing.
Yeah,
Personally, I think first you need to know what your objective is. Like, what's the task that.
Mhm.
And like in my case, like we have multiple providers. We have like stuff that like people don't really want to do, and that's like paperwork and basket. Everyone's assigned paperwork, but there's some people that are on straight up support, so they're not assigned with providers. So they have to own that.
Mhm.
I think one knowing the people you're working with, what they're good at, what they're not good at,
Yeah.
is very important. Knowing who has more experience in what situation. You may know someone is better at rooming, say, uh, but they also have more experience on phone calls than this new person who has no experience on phone calls and is okay at rooming. So you put the person that's okay on rooming and the person that's like
Good.
has that
Yeah,
those repetitions on the phone calls on
Mhm.
phone calls.
yeah. The way I try to do it is obviously biggest thing is knowing who you're working with and their strengths and weaknesses. And if you don't know them, it's a good idea to have everyone like rotate through different roles or positions. So that way you can then see where somebody's good and where someone's not.
Mhm.
And then you can formulate like your team, I say.
Mhm.
I thought about it like in an off-roading situation, right? There's You have the actual leader, you have the navigator, you have like communication person, and then you have the caboose, the guy at the very back that like makes sure everyone is in front of him. He's the very back guy, and it's good to like rotate through those different positions. Even as the leader, like say you're the fucking number one guy, or you're the navigator that determines everything. It's good to have somebody else do it so they can at least learn that experience just a little bit, even if they're not good at it.
Mhm.
So that way they can understand how they understand what
Um,
whoever ends up getting that position knows what they're doing.
I think also doing something like that like teaches everybody how important the other person
Yeah, each role. Yeah.
because to respect somebody else that's in a different position that you feel is maybe like it's not as hard as yours. If you don't understand the work they're doing, sometimes it's easier to fall into that trap of like, oh, I'm definitely working harder,
Yeah, or I could do his
or
job.
I can
Like
do his
he's
job.
Yeah, I could
doesn't need to
easily
be
do this
here.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people like that.
Well, I think having like for a leader, if you have like really good communication skills, like you need to be able to uh allow the people under you to come to you if they have a question and have confidence even in you, even if you don't know the question. At least be honest. Like I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, but let me get that to you. You know, you need that trust there.
Yeah. Trust is a big thing as a leader.
That's what I try to. If you don't have the answer to something, knowing your resources is really important.
Yeah,
Like knowing that you don't have the answer and knowing someone that you're confident they might have the answer, or at least they'll get you closer to one.
yeah,
Being genuine and saying I don't know, and then being like they might.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Like
think they know, but I'm not 100%
yeah,
sure. You can go ask them to see if they do.
like voluntary showing that hey, I don't know everything, and that I think that
Yeah,
builds trust as
I am
well.
a human. I'm not a fucking encyclopedia.
Yeah, I think that helps build trust as well.
yeah. Because imagine you go to them and they give you like false information because they're like, oh, I didn't want to look bad in front of them, so I just gave them,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't work. Well,
Yeah.
now you're like, fuck,
You'd
I
be
can't trust this
surprised.
dude.
You'd be surprised at how many fucking people are like that
Yeah.
because they don't want to look bad. They don't want to feel dumb in their position,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And they also want to make it seem harder for somebody to take their spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to look more valuable.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Changing things up. How does someone breaking rules in a game or cheating change how people feel about the game?
What a segue.
Mhm.
What a segue. Um, in game development, I forgot what the saying is, but pretty much, or the term, but it's pretty much when it kind of plays into the fun factor when someone loses in the game and they feel like they were cheated. Like they feel like they didn't lose because of their skill, they lost because of either RNG or some type of element or force that was outside of their control. They'll feel like the game will be less fun for them. They feel like they got cheated. They feel
Yeah,
like
it's
it
rigged.
wasn't fair. It's rigged against them. Um, so when you implement something like that, where you have someone cheating in a game or cheating in general, it kind of puts a sour taste out for the community at whole because it's like, okay, well, this person is cheating. It's being allowed or at least happening, and we can't win or we can't get ahead because someone is playing with an unfair advantage to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
game.
it's being used negatively.
Yeah,
Yeah, because in Call of Duty, way back when mods were like allowed, I loved playing with mods. But not using the like God mode stuff. Not the thing that gave you the edge. The thing that made the lobby or the game funner for everyone else. Like, oh, you got moon gravity, so everyone like jumps and they float for a really long time,
Or
right?
yeah.
advanced.
Advanced
Stuff
warfare.
like
You got
that.
boost.
Or you can run really fast, or everyone can go outside the map and walk around and
Yeah. But that's
explore.
everyone has that though is another thing. Like if everyone had like wall hack, for instance, which technically for what Black Ops 3 Vision Pulse is technically like a wall hack.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Anyone could use that
yeah,
character
yeah.
if they really wanted to. So it's not like, and they, I mean, they have their nerfs too. Like you can't constantly have a wall hack, otherwise everyone would use it.
Yeah.
Um, so like stuff like that, yeah, it's fine as long as everyone has access to it.
Yeah,
It's
I think
fair.
using it selfishly is the problem,
Yeah,
and specifically for an advantage.
yeah,
Using it to gain where it's wrong.
Yeah.
When it's everybody, like if you have everyone taking roids in UFC, then
Yeah, if everyone's super,
Sure.
then no one is.
like if
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
voluntary, then yeah, sure. If you are under the understanding that you're not on roids, but your competition is, and it's legal, and you're under that understanding, and you accept the fight, and you lose, you can't be like, oh, he had an unfair advantage because you were aware.
Yeah,
I think at the point where you're aware that there is already the advantage on their side.
yeah, like like what you're talking about with steroids and like, is it Mr. Olympia?
Yeah.
Yeah, all those guys are on roids, and
Yeah.
if you don't take roids, you won't win. You won't even have a fucking chance. Yeah, it's trying to get you.
Okay.
If there are rules that seem too unreasonable for like a community, do you think it's common for people to break them,
Yeah.
or do you think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
better?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
think it's more common for them to break them or change them?
Break them.
Right.
I
Because
think so
changing
too.
them is a lot harder than just not following them.
Why do you think it's harder to change the rule?
Because you have, depending on how rule change works, so let's just go with like Call of Duty, for instance, you would have to like talk with the developers, talk with, I don't know if you have to talk with like fuck, what I'm thinking about. I'm pretty sure you don't talk to them, so I'm just not going to say it, fuck it. I was going to say the investors, but I'm pretty sure you don't talk to those. But like
No, you don't
the
talk to those
higher
guys
ups
enough. Yeah,
who are looking at analytics and all this other shit, like, no, we have a good sense of the direction. What do you know? You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
arrogant higher ups. So I think it'll be harder to change that as opposed to just breaking like fuck, we're just gonna break the rules.
yeah.
Play it how we want to play it.
That's how I see it because it's like those chefs that are like, no, you can't modify or change how I have something on a menu because this is the way I have it set.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you want it that way or not. This is the way I put it in place.
Yeah. Everything is for a reason. This is why I made it like this. This is why it's in this particular order on the chef's menu or whatever. Yeah. And then you're like, well, maybe you could change this a little bit. Like, nope, do it.
Even in sports like NASCAR, NASCAR's used to be a big like cheating thing, and then rules got changed.
They still do it. There's still sly ways they cheat. I don't.
Yeah, they're not as aggressive as they used to be.
Like they used to. There's like fuel limit capacity. Some people would put bigger lines, and then they figured out that people would put bigger fuel lines so it could hold more fuel. So they'd like what do
Yeah.
you call it? Control the size of your fuel line. But then people would figure out how to put extra fuel line like length in their car. Like they would hide it. Of course, they caught onto that. And then also aerodynamics. And
Yeah,
shit.
the aerodynamic stuff was big.
Yeah, I remember there was like a portion on like I think it was like I want to say it was like the 4th gen NASCAR or 5th gen where you would break off a side of the car and it would like one or like you would bend it up and it would make the air go around your tire better, but also it became a spike. So if you ran into someone's tire, you would pop it.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Like death race.
Yeah,
They're
practically.
crazy in NASCAR, dude.
And they figured out you can't. Obviously, they would see people do that and they're like, yeah, we should probably ban.
Yeah.
Why did his tire pop when he collided with the other tire?
No.
Do you think in certain situations, I'm not going to say all situations because I know not all. Some people break rules, so the people that like put the rules in could see like why there needs to be a different rule or a new rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They basically like as a movement, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. It's like either a sign of rebellion or just like to notice, like, listen, we're gonna keep doing this shit until you fix it.
Yeah, you're not going to listen to us by us telling you, so we have to like actually show you why it's fucked up or why it's wrong.
Yeah, it was like in the Hunger Games when Katniss and Peeta fucking was gonna eat the berries and kill each other.
There would be no winner.
There would be no winner. Like
Yeah.
this is what's wrong.
Yeah, there's a.
And he was like, "Wait, no, stop! The games is over." And fucking Papa Snow, nigga, he was like, "Listen, dog, like now you gotta die. Here's the berries, dog. Have fun."
Got 'em. Now, there's not much left, as in there's only one question left that is tied back into the main thing. Why do good people become bad?
Because bad people become good.
I don't know about that one, dude.
Why do good people become bad?
Yeah.
Don't know.
I think eventually over time, things around you could easily like corrupt
The temptation.
temptation or straight up fatigue, tiredness. You're tired of being nice. You're tired of being good. You just want to not care anymore. You, the people around you don't care. You just you're tired of caring for them when they don't care about you, or they won't put the same forward, so you won't put the same forward.
There's too much negativity. There's like
Whoa.
too much like corruption around. It's
Well,
like Destiny, right? The
Yeah.
light versus dark. The light is the fucking traveler. It's a really small ball, and then the darkness is freaking huge, and it eventually swarms the light. I think that's how it is. There's too much uh like darkness in the world.
Too much temptation, yeah. Too much darkness.
not Jesus.
Yeah, they say the holy man falls 7 times, so
They say
Yeah.
that?
yeah. I might be getting the number wrong, but yeah.
I don't
Like you
I
try
would
to
have not a clue.
repent for your sins and do good, but you're gonna fall again.
Yeah.
Keep falling until you pretty much get it.
Mhm.
Just because there's too much temptation out there, too much evil, too much corruption.
There's evil afoot.
There's evil, yeah, there's evil, and there's people that trying to like prey on you or like
Mhm.
trying to see your downfall or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
So much negativity.
Yeah, I think the higher you get, the more on edge you are, so the more willing you are to sacrifice other people to keep what you have because you don't want to lose it.
Higher as in like on the social, like
Yeah,
money
socially,
wise, like
like
socially.
social, money, whatever, financially, whatever you want to say.
Because it's so hard to
Yeah,
get there.
yeah, you have to work so hard to get to the top, and then let's just say you get canceled once you're at the top. The climb back up is either never going to happen or it's harder, like way more harder than
Well, you do got to be on guard though too, because like there are people out there that will try to like the whole thing that's going on with Shannon Sharp right now.
Yeah.
I was watching Abba and Preach actually, and Abba said something that was really interesting. He's like, when you get to a certain level of fame, you got to move a certain way
Yeah.
because you're popular now. You can't date like normal people
Yeah.
for the most part because a lot of them are gonna want to use you or like have you provide a certain lifestyle or do whatever. And if
Yeah.
you try to break that off or leave, they're gonna try to take that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so I don't know. It's kind of you do got to be on guard when you get up, or I say be on guard now too, because kind of like this saying where they say, every man's or someone, what was it? Someone's trash is another man's treasure or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's the same. Like you may have something that someone else would
Want.
die to have,
Yeah.
whether that's like an apartment, a new car, a girlfriend, or whatever the fuck it is,
Job.
a job. Like people will find anything to be how tall you are, your skin color, whatever the fuck it is, and they'll be envious and have some type of like remorse towards you
Yeah.
because of their own insecurities or their own bullshit.
Yeah. There's too much. I needed to pull you down to my level instead of you pulling me up to your level.
Yeah.
Or I need to take you off of yours so I can replace you or take.
Yeah, I
gain
want to be
from.
where you're at. You got to be where I.
Or
And
I don't even want to see you up there. Like
Yeah.
I just don't want you to win,
Yeah.
type of thing. Like I
There
don't
are
want you
people
up
like
there.
that. There are people like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crabs in a barrel, man. Crabs in a barrel. I forgot the full statement, but it's something like
Doggy
Something like that.
dog.
that.
All right, that's
Oh, it's crabs in the barrel. You don't got to close the lid. That's what it was.
true. There are crabs in the barrel. Crabs are crazy.
Yeah. What's crazy about crabs?
Vampire crabs.
What's a vampire crab?
They latch onto your coot.
That is
What?
this guy. Vampire crabs are just crazy. They're small. They're like purple.
Are they like leeches? Like
No, they're crabs. They're actual crabs.
I'm
they're like
the latching
suck-
onto your cooch.
No, I'm not talking about when you say vampire. I'm thinking of like extracting blood from like eat, like a vampire bat or a leech.
If I remember correctly, it's because of how aggressive they are.
Oh.
How
They're
How much
also
they like-
purple like
Okay.
Count Chocula.
yeah.
Or what's the Count?
Yeah. Count Dracula.
Like piranha.
The Count.
You know how crazy old people are?
Very.
Great segue.
Dude. No, this is a crab segue. This person, they're elderly, thought they had crabs.
Okay.
Want to know what they were doing? They hopped around 4 or 5 different seats in the waiting room, just trying to talk to people, and they possibly had crabs.
Okay.
genital crabs.
That's
The person that was hopping?
Yeah,
Or the
the
person?
person that was hopping around, just old as shit, fucking
no
hopping
care
around.
in the
No
world,
care in the world.
baby.
We had to fucking sterilize the seats because of them. They didn't end up having crabs,
Crabs, yeah, but just in case.
but they didn't have either they had the thought that, oh, I have crabs, I'm just gonna keep hopping around, or they didn't have the thought to think of, oh, what I'm doing could also affect other people.
Can you get crabs if someone sits down on the seat and they got crabs and you sit down on that seat?
If it's
Like, what are
like
the chances of that?
if it's like a
Really
cloth,
low.
if it's a cloth seat and you're wearing thin clothes or your infection like very severe, the more it increases.
That's fucking disgusting. I'm never sitting
Cloth
on public transportation.
cloth seats are like pretty bad. They always hold.
Airplane, I'm standing up.
It's very low, but it's also we can't take the
Max train, standing up.
bullet train standing
Bullet train, standing
Oh
up.
fuck, dude.
fucking flies
Rocket
the bed.
ship, standing up. Don't give a fuck.
No, you're not Katy Perry.
Nope. I'm little Einstein in the shit, nigga.
Einstein.
Going up, standing up.
Oh my god.
Quick little 48. Not bad.
Yeah.
Here's a
Wait,
question:
okay.
Does the Power Rangers, when they get Megazords, are they standing or sitting?
I think they're sitting.
Yeah, how do they do the poses then? Let's go, Mighty Morphin Power.
That's a great
Are they
point.
sitting doing that or are they standing? You know,
But
someone who's watching,
when you see
at
him
it.
controlling it,
They get hit and they be like, no! Or they fucking flinch too. They like fly back in their seats or standing or what the fuck it is.
that's a great point.
Fun fact about Power Rangers: the original series was actually the Japanese video. They just did English dub over it.
Well, yeah, you're not seeing any mouths, so that makes
Yeah, so like the same like action, like the same people in the action. That was just Japanese footage
that's sick.
that they just overlaid with the English dub, and then had the English actors do their actual
That's the Americans learning from the Chinese.
Yeah.
That's how you.
Japanese.
Japanese.
Well, no, we're learning from the Chinese because the Chinese take everything that we make.
Well,
just turn it
no,
into
they brought it over to the United States, and
the
As a
Japanese did.
proposition.
to say, yeah, the Japanese did.
Oh, I see.
Because it blew up in fucking Japan. They're like, we probably could have a market in it. So they took it over to Japan, and they're like, well, we're gonna have to fight. We're gonna have to like reshoot all these action scenes. They're like, you know what? Instead of reshooting it, let's just dub it over because they're already in mask. You know, you kind of already know the plot.
We gotta save as much money as
Wait,
possible.
so the American series went to Japan?
No, the Japan
Oh,
series
the Japan
came
series
over,
came. Oh, okay.
came over to
I was
here,
confused for
and
a second.
then
Okay.
they pretty much had their own like character, like Jason, Michael, where the fuck their names were.
Yeah.
And then yeah, they just transformed or whatever. But then they had like just the Japanese, like the Japanese people, the Japanese footage of the action scene when they're in. So and they just dubbed over it because they're like, fuck it, we're gonna do all this fucking CGI shit again. It really was CGI, it's like practical effects.
Yeah.
Some of it was CGI, but yeah, it was interesting. Fun fact about Power Rangers back in like the 90s.
Exactly what we need.
Might have been 80.
More power.
Fun fact. What's our advice for today?
Love that.
Set boundaries.
Yeah, set boundaries. Don't let people walk all over you.
Learn how to say no. Practice by saying no to small things. So when the big things come up that you need to say no to, you can do it.
But don't set boundary, quote unquote boundaries that are not actually boundaries.
Yeah.
Jamie's giving me some examples, but I can't think of them right now because my brain's not working.
Boundaries that aren't set as boundaries.
Boundaries that are not actually boundaries.
Like don't get in my bubble. I don't know.
No. That's an actual boundary. A boundary like
I won't do this unless you do this.
Don't say this around me.
No. What the hell is it? I won't shave my hair unless you do the dishes type of thing.
Oh yeah,
The
so
fuck?
it's the fucking what's
That's
it called?
quid pro quo.
Yeah.
I think I said that
Quid
wrong. Quid pro quo.
This for that.
Yeah. That's not a boundary.
Yeah, that's a threat.
It's a promise.
You can take it down. Okay. Well, here's another thing of advice. If you're in a leadership position or a leadership role, try to understand where
everyone's coming
from. Try to be open-minded. Don't be a fucking dick. And if you have a dick, because I know that there are dick employees too. If you have a dick, and if you have like an employee who's under you who is an asshole, I get that. I really don't have any advice for that. I don't know. I can't think of one right now.
It's called de-escalation.
Try to de-escalate. Talk to them because at the end of the day, they are a person.
Yeah.
And they might not just like you. They might just not like management or higher supervisor position.
Yeah, I
So,
have this problem. It's some authority thing, anti-authority thing.
I think it's Frank telling you to tell him to fuck off.
Oppositional fucking.
No, it's a part of autism. It's, Jamie knows the freaking acronym of it.
You don't like authority?
Yeah, I'm regressive towards authority.
You're rebellion.
Yeah, pretty much. It has a specific name.
He doesn't like someone who's in leadership because they're in that position of power.
You don't like people in power. So if everyone was like equal empowered, fine.
Sure.
He's a socialist.
You're so you're a communist.
No, it's mainly because of how many people abuse power.
Yeah, and you'd be like, nigga, why
Oppositional
are you so
defiance
much
disorder.
better?
Yeah, oppositional defiance. Something.
ODD.
Yeah.
I'm fine with certain people in power. I just don't like it when it's like they think they're too higher than themselves. Like, bro, you put on the same pair of pants the way I do every day. We're wearing the same uniform, dog. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Be real.
Why I have the ODD thing. So many people are not. Yeah, they're not real. All right, anyways, guys, that was the Lucifer effect. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
those
Wait.